Okay. Am I live? I think I am live. How's everyone doing today? It's Friday and the weekend will soon be here, and everybody can relax. Let's see. Let me see what I'm gonna do. Just gotta check things real quick. Yeah, I keep forgetting to share. Yeah, I have so many. Yeah, have fun trying to share things out and stuff. Ah, there I am. Yeah. Oh, there I am. Oh, there I am. Oops, there I was. Okay. Yeah, I just have to share myself out real quick. Yeah, I've been wanting to go live for the last couple days, but God, everybody else went live. It looks like a couple other people decided to go live too. Oh well. Uh, yeah, that happens. It's like it starts out that nobody goes live, and geez, and then next thing you know, everybody decided to go live. Hello, Amber. How are you? Yeah, how are you doing today? Yeah, yeah, it's been one of those weeks. I don't know what's going on. Yesterday was like two people I know decided to quit doing live streams, and I don't know what's going on. I'm usually like the last one to find out about things, and I have to like go watch their videos to find out what's going on. I know. Yeah, I felt like that this morning too. I didn't even want to get out of bed this morning. Yeah, I like just kept hitting the snooze. Like, yeah, 15 minutes. Give me, yeah, Yeah, just another 15 minutes. And it was like, finally, I'm like, nah, I gotta get up. It's just one of those days. Looks like we might get a little rain. It's a little, yeah, it looks a little bit cloudy out. Usually rainy days, yeah, I'm gonna stay in bed. Yeah, I went downtown yesterday, so I'm good. And we have a better bus schedule than we did before, so in fact, I can go out later in the day and not have to worry about coming home. Yeah. Oh, I'm doing good, Amber. Yeah, until I get up enough money to buy a vehicle, which is kind of hard to do when I have like a business to run. It's kind of hard to get money sometimes because you're always, if you fall short for the month, you have to put money into it, and if you have like a little extra money, then that's when you can end up having to buy equipment and things like that. But yeah, we're working on it. We'll get the budget straightened out sooner or later. Yeah, today does feel kind of off. It's just one of those off days. But at least, yeah, it's Friday. But yesterday was really off. I mean, like we're like two or three people that just said, you know what? There's too much drama. Things are happening personally, and they're just not streaming. Going to be doing streams or panels anymore for a while. And one might have quit permanently. I don't know. I got to. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, last night was crazy. How many people decided to go live? Oh, there's Nightbot. Nightbot finally made an appearance. I think I tweaked Nightbot enough. I'm not sure. Yeah. I almost got smoked by somebody else's Nightbot last night. I'm like, really? Yeah, that was kind of funny. Oh, farming. Ah, yeah. I wish I could be doing that. Yeah, maybe later on if I get a place with a couple acres. Yeah, I'll do some farming. Yeah, Nightbot. Yeah, Nightbot is a little difficult to set up, but yeah, there were like three or four of us working on it. So we like, well, let's see. We'll click on this, see what happens. We click on a few other things, and I think it works. But the one thing you have to do to get Nightbot to work right is that Nightbot has its own YouTube channel. You have to get the link from its YouTube channel and add it as a mod, which is weird. But yeah, I think Nightbot has, I don't know how many million followers, but it's quite a bit. Yeah, really quite a few. And finally, I added Nightbot as a mod, and it's there. But yeah, it was fun trying to set up the comments for it, the links and all that. But I'm hoping I straightened it out. I think the last, yeah, two streams ago, yeah, I was like trying to readjust everything. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty much, yeah, it's just a matter of setting the timers and dropping the links like we normally drop links in the channel. As soon as I figured that out, yeah, right. Yes, I didn't think it would work for me either. I was like, oh, I really want to play, especially after I did the first test, Nightbot didn't show up. I was like, I thought I did everything, but then it was like, oh no, you gotta add, you gotta go to the Nightbot's channel, you gotta get its link, and then you gotta drop it in the right spot, which took a little, yeah, 2 or 3 attempts, and but finally it showed up as a mod. Then I had to make sure that it only went after trolls. But there is an option that I could actually have it set up to go after mods if I wanted to. But it's in chat, and I think it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I know during the first stream I did, it was monitoring things. It knew what was being said, but it just couldn't make any comments. But yeah, today I just said, yeah, I'm going live. I mean, I was so busy last night. It's like I don't know how many people went live, but it was crazy. Yeah, that's what happened with me. It's like I programmed Nightbot with a whole bunch of commands, and yeah, it didn't show up. But I think I got it straightened out. Hopefully, we'll see. Yeah, I spaced out the commands so it'll drop links at certain times, and it should be starting to drop links and stuff pretty soon. Yeah, yeah. Yesterday, yeah, the whole day was kind of hectic. Yesterday, had a couple meetings I had to go to. Then I had to do a few other things, and I had to go downtown. Hey, Spitfire, what's up? How you doing? Spitfire is in the building. And yes, drop my link, see what happens. If anybody wants to come up on panel. Yeah, it's just one of those days. Yeah, today I'm home. I'm trying to relax, but my dad keeps bugging me about playing Warpath, which is all right. But hey, sometimes I just want to keep a low profile. Yeah, I just don't some days I just don't feel like blowing up bases and stuff like that. If I do go into the game, I go into it just to spy on everybody, see what's going on, checking to see if anyone's causing any problems somewhere. I think I do see someone that's trying to start trouble. So I gotta give them a little verbal warning. Not verbal, but you know. Okay, yes. See you later, Amber. Okay, now where did he? There's his base. Yeah, I got one base where it's not supposed to be, and I don't know why. And Warpath, and I don't know. I'm just gonna leave him alone for now. And I don't know why my ally decided to set his territory up the way he did, unless he was trying to imitate my territory. Oh, what do you know? Nightbot dropped a leak. Unbelievable. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, beautiful. It did it right. Yeah, it's Team Vigman. They've been, yeah, very busy. Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear that, Spitfire. I was kind of sick last night, early this morning. But I'm not too bad now. But yeah, Team Vingman, yeah, they've been quite busy. Let's see. Oh, and there's my channel. Yeah, Team Vingman is our backup team. It's a 5-member team of basically college students. They they weren't good enough for Yale, so they had to go to one of the lower colleges, and they help out when they can. But they're basically in training right now, and we put them through a lot of training. Hey, one week they'll be out hiking somewhere deep in the woods. Next week they'll be learning self-defense techniques. Another week they'll be working on filming. Right now they're working on going through a sort of like a introductory to introductory course on demonology. which are very, very complicated. So besides doing their college work, they work with us, and they haven't had time. Yeah, they haven't really had time to get on the Twitter or YouTube lately, but they will be back. Yeah, I'm like trying to relax too now a little bit. After yesterday, yeah, I want to relax. Hey, kitten, what's up? Yeah, I am live again, and I have a not. Yeah, I have a little one of those Nightbots. Why is not? What happened here? Yeah, why are? Oh, hey, Pinky, how you doing? Okay, kitten. Yeah, let me see. Okay, mod. Who's mod? I thought I had one more person as a mod. There we go. Yeah, yeah. I didn't have anything to do today for work, so it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a live. As usually, there's like two or three other people that usually do streams around this time, and one of them's not going to be streaming for a while, and the other one won't be. Another one won't be streaming till I think tomorrow. Yeah, tonight's supposed to be another crazy night. A lot of things going on, but it's hard for me to keep track of who's going live. Sometimes I'm like, it'll be quiet and like nobody goes live, and other nights everybody decides to go live. But yeah, my friend Clown, he used to do he'd be on every night, and a lot of the rest of us would be yeah on his channel, on his streams, on his panel. So everybody back then, God, probably about a year ago, everybody knew what everybody else was doing. But now it is like there's no focal point. There's no one person that everyone knows to report to, kind of. Oh yes, we do have merch. I know night. Yeah, last night was just way too crazy. Yeah, I was popping from stream to stream, and then Boots and Hensley kept having problems with their internet. So I was like trying to keep track of them. Nubs was live. I don't know who else was, and I was just popping in between streams trying to figure out what's going on. And Nightbot, I don't believe it. I got Nightbot to work. And yeah, usually I'm busy, so busy promoting other people I don't even promote my own channel or my merch, or I don't promote anything of mine. I got the channel link down if anybody wants to come up on panel. Yeah, I'm getting good at this. I'm a really fast learner, but sometimes it's just I'm not good with computer stuff for some reason. And sometimes I don't think any of us are good with computers. Oh, okay, yeah, just checking in with the game real quick. I think everything's quiet. I haven't, yeah, I have three. Oh yeah, yeah. There was a lot of chaos yesterday. I don't know what the heck was going on. But yeah, there was. It was just abnormally chaotic. And channels that normally don't have drama had a whole bunch of drama. I'm like, really now? What? And like you're right, I try to stay out of a lot of that. I don't get involved normally. Sometimes, if certain people are involved, I'm friends with like both of them, which is sometimes sketchy. Yeah, like one friend will suddenly go after another friend for some reason. Oh yeah, wow, yeah, that's awkward. Yeah, you missed your own life. But yeah, actually, that does happen. It's happened a few times where we'll be sitting waiting for someone to go live, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Sorry about that. We had to reschedule or something. Then the timer goes from 15 minutes to 15 hours or something like that. It's like, what happened? Yeah, I do have to check in with the game real quick. But I'm sneaky. I have three bases in the game, and so does my dad. So nobody knows where we're going to pop up or which base is going to do something. We have each base is in a different territory. I have one base in Charleston. One base I think is I don't even know where I put it. Oh, Salt Lake. Third base is in Memphis. So we could be anywhere. And we have one, two, three, four. Yeah, we have like five or six territories now. And we are, I think, the second or third largest alliance with territory, the largest amount of territory. So we went from one little acre of land, I don't know how, or something like that in the game, to probably one of the third largest territories or alliances, which is scary. Yeah, some mornings I don't even want to check in the chat in the game. It's kind of like an imitation Twitter. Yeah, somebody actually said something in the Charleston chat, so I responded. That's our home territory, but a couple of the bases there haven't moved in a while, so everybody thinks they were like a ghost territory. So they kind of get surprised when 4 or 5 of the bases spring to life and blow them up. We were doing that for a while. Every morning we'd have a hit list of which bases we wanted to blow up, and sometimes we'd blow up 5 or 6 bases and then go back home. But wait, now. Oh, I missed something. Yeah, one of my allies was just noticed that. Yeah, we have two new bases. I said, oh yeah. Tomorrow, today I can relax. This weekend might be crazy. I don't know yet. We're supposed to do something, but I don't know what. I had a schedule somewhere. I don't know where I put it. So somebody will call me if I'm supposed to be somewhere. Or they're supposed to call me. Sometimes it doesn't always work. And I just where is that schedule? Oh well, it'll pop up. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Let me look. I found it. Oh yeah, September. What are we doing tomorrow? Tomorrow is okay. We're supposed to be going on a little shopping trip tomorrow. I think. Let's see how we try to go out looking for equipment on Saturdays. And Sundays we try to do something else. And one of my good friends just told me about a Hungarian festival somewhere, so we're gonna have fun. Oh, hey Maria, I think we're gonna have fun. Yeah, I really don't know what's gonna happen at this Hungarian festival. I don't know. Yeah, we might film a little bit of it, maybe not. Let's see what are we doing after that? What's next week? Oh yeah, what? That's right. Yeah, we're supposed to be having another big cookout. That's going to be fun. I don't even know where it's going to be yet. I don't think anyone knows where we're going to do it. This will be like a smaller cookout. I think it's just going to be us and Team Wingmen so far. I don't know if any of my Stanford people are going to show up. They might, but yeah, since I sided with the New Haven chapter, the Stanford chapter really doesn't want to have too much to do with me. Hey, Bob, happy Friday. But if anybody wants to come up on panel, let me drop the link again. That should be the link. I'm getting good at this. I got a Nightbot program. Yeah, I didn't think I could do it, but I don't know. Everybody seems to be having trouble setting up Nightbots. Oh, okay, Pinky. Yeah, you're on two streams. Yeah, I'm just on my own right now. Like, yeah, normally I'm doing something else, but today I don't have anything else to do except maybe blow up a base in this game if somebody says I need a yeah. That's yeah. So far everything's quiet. I don't know if anybody's complaining because I'm not in my main base. I'm in one of my other two bases. But when I go back, hopefully, you know what? Yeah, I don't know where my dad is again. Sometimes he's been playing hooky a lot. He's probably in the office doing something else. But since I started working from home, I do go into the office for a meeting. Something is drastically different. But he's got these connections I don't even want to know about, and it's like things keep showing up, like a Keurig machine, uh, new tiles on the floor. I think the only office he hasn't really touched yet is my office. So far, I think I've been lucky. But yeah, something changes quite a bit. It's like, okay, as long as we don't have to pay for it, or we're not paying that much for it, go right ahead, do what you want. But yet today he has not reported in anywhere. So I think half my people haven't reported in yet. Okay. Okay, let me see. Drop in. Where's my? Yeah, now I got to figure out. Okay, I'm switching bases again. Let's see. Anybody here? Who's here? How many people? Oh, we still have at least 2 or 3 people here. I do, out of habit, have my YouTube open, but it's on mute. Yeah, I just want to make sure my Nightbot is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and everybody's blue that needs to be blue. Oh, what happened? Okay, well, good. Nightbot dropped another link. Let me just check on that. Perfect. And that's my friend Ancient. Well, actually, that was our supposed to be our main channel, but Ancient was the one that kind of like took it over. But he decided to do his own paranormal thing on that channel for now until we get the rest of the equipment we need and get organized. And yeah, right now we're doing the aerial reconnaissance with satellite images on where we're supposed to be searching. It's a 1,600-acre property. So we've got a lot of work to do, and we got to make sure that we're not wasting our time going around in circles, bushwhacking in all the wrong places. So we've got 2 sites pinpointed by satellite. The one site is huge. It looks like it's probably a good acre in size. It's on top of a 300-foot cliff, which means it's a very important ceremonial center. And we're going to actually start from the top and work our way down instead of the other way, since it's actually probably easier to do it that way, but it's just a matter of scaling a 300-foot cliff to do it. But we have to do that anyway because these people had boats that they went traveled up and down the river in, and we want to see how they would have approached this one area. So we're going to start from the river, probably use one of the paths that they made to go up that cliff face. So it's going to, some of the images are going to be spectacular. Some of the video, and we got to I don't know if we're going to shoot video on the way up or not. We might just say, wait till we get on top of the cliff before we do any filming. But it's going to be very complicated because we're used to searching in like 400 or 500 acres, not over 1,500 to 2,000 acres. It's a little bit larger than what we normally explore in. Plus, it's different, whole different group of animals, creatures we'll have to deal with. And down in Stanford, Greenwich, and even the Hudson Valley, we never had problems with having to worry about timber rattlers. But up here, it seems like, they have timber rattlers, bears, and a few other creatures that we haven't encountered yet or before. It's going to be a totally different explore. Going to have to be a lot more careful. But it takes a lot of planning. We can't just go in there blind like we used to do, especially with the modern technology they have nowadays. It's like we're mapping out every trail. Oh, hey, Dave, how are you? Yeah, we have to map out all the trail systems. But there are trails that go through the 1,600 acres, but we have to make sure we know where everything is in case we have to get out in a hurry. And we're actually going to be working with inexperienced hikers and explorers and investigators and all that. So we have to make sure we have every bit of this explorer planned. Oh no, there are 3 Davids here. I've been invaded. I just realized that. I figure, on my channel. Yeah, it would have to happen on my channel, but what are you going to do? Let's see. Yeah, Attack of the Davids. Oh, yeah, I just noticed that. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Today looks like it's not going to be a good day to do anything. And the sky's getting darker. It looks like it's probably, yeah, it's like noon now. It looks like it's 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. It don't look good at all. Oh, no problem, Dave. Yeah, I have a Nightbot, so yeah, I don't know what Nightbot's going to do with people. But yeah, Nightbot just seems to be happily dropping links, not threatening anybody, or which is good. Let's see if anybody wants to come up for a few. I think that should be the link. Hopefully it is. Yeah, even though yeah, yeah, this is totally new to me, but I'm like very fast learner when it comes to some things. But it took me 2 streams to get Nightbot figured out. But yeah, if anybody wants to come up, go right ahead. Hey, girly girl, how are you? Yeah, I am live again. Yeah, I'm just trying to relax a little bit after this long, hectic week. And the lava lamp is resting. Yeah, I didn't even turn it on last night, which which is all right. Yeah, the lava lamp is a little bit old. Don't want to, and like nobody actually has requested me to turn it on yet. Uh, with certain people, he did investigations. The first, as soon as they got to wherever they were going, they said, "Okay, what's the lava lamp doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even turn it on. Turn it on. Wait a minute." And usually, the lava lamp never didn't show anything good. It's like, yeah, you're not going to like what's out there. You better be careful. But actually, there was one, yeah, when it first started getting interested in YouTube, I think to let me know that it was watching YouTube, I think Southern Afterlife did at Southern Afterlife Paranormal. Josh did a video or an investigation. I don't know if he was live or not. He might have been live. And the lava lamp actually showed where he was. He was like exploring this tunnel or cave somewhere, and the haunted lava lamp showed me a cave. I was like, okay, so I know it's watching Josh. Then it got on the. Yeah, now all it wants to do is look for anything negative. They show it to me, and I'm like, do I really want to see this? Like, yeah, that last live I did, that was creepy. But that's what I go through normally when someone else is doing an investigation. That's what the lava lamp is basically doing. And sometimes it'll even be more active than that. It'll show one bad thing, and then two, and sometimes it'll change two or three times. It's like, yeah, you really shouldn't be doing an investigation out there right now. Because the lava lamp is locking onto several different targets, and it's like, no, I wouldn't even be out there. And one of my friends, he was doing an investigation in a certain area. He does daytime investigations, and the lava lamp actually showed a picture of him standing near a park bench, and then it kind of transformed into like him probably being hurt or injured or something. If he, it was like a warning. It's like if you go back there again, you might get hurt. So I told my friend, and so far so good. But that was the first time I seen it do something like that. So apparently, it does care about people. But right now, yeah, the lava lamp, it's resting. I'm not sure. I might do an investigation with one of the creepy dolls that's standing next to it. I'm not sure, but I think the lava lamp was having a problem with that doll, which is possible. My friend, if he finds a doll with an attachment or something, he'll drop it off on my doorstep. But the last time you did it, I said, "Oh, guess what? You're doing the investigation." But the spirits were so worried about him doing the investigation that they were kept calling out my name. So he didn't really get too much out of that doll. So I'm probably going to have to do an investigation on it, do a necrophonic session, the whole 9 yards. But the lava lamp, I think, is trying to tell me, there's something a little bit off with that doll. But it's not like the other doll that is still in a timeout in the corner of the room. The lava lamp really complained about that one. It's like, move it, cover it up, do something with it, but get it out of here. And so far, that doll has not moved. If it does move, yeah, I'm digging a hole in the backyard, cover it up with salt, and bye. But so far, hasn't done anything. Oh, yeah, I can't wait till we get into the real fall weather. But it's still a little humid, a little bit warm. Yeah, we have two Daves in the house. Actually, three, including me. That's very unusual. Gee, nobody wants to come up on panel? Wow. I think last time I did a live during the day. I had Clown came up, Second Star came up, Maria, I think just D I think came up too. That was cool. Well, I've been live for an hour already. That's cool. And Nightbot hasn't smoked anybody. I think everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody's a mod, just in case. But I do have the option of letting the Nightbot go off their mods, but I'm not going to do that. That would be funny though, one night or one day to do that. But Nightbot is happily posting links. Yeah, just posted a Team Wingmen. That's our backup team. And we kind of we joke around with each other quite a bit. But yeah. Oh, you're not a moderator? I thought you were, girly girl. Let me see what happened here. Oh, I will fix that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, Nightbot. Yeah, I told Nightbot not to go after excess emojis. Well, it could go after repetitions. No, maybe not. I think I turned that one off too. Okay, so yeah, girly girl, you're a mod. You've been smurfed. You have the wrench. Okay, there we did. Yep, I did it. 7 thumbs up. Excellent. No thumbs down. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Team Wingman. Yeah, we've been working them really hard lately. We've got to get ready for when we go out doing explorations. I'm going to need as many people as I can. There's another organization I might have to call in, and I'm not sure if they're how active they are, but they usually have people. I think the closest chapter they have I think is in Groton, Connecticut, which is probably like 55 miles away. I think that's your closest chapter. So they could possibly send a few people over my way. Hopefully. But my organization, yeah, we have a few members, but they're kind of like part of them are doing land preservation and working with other other organizations. Yeah, we do a lot of things, and the paranormal is just something we added this year. We are basically locating potential archaeological sites that were on land scheduled to be developed, and our job was to go in there, check out the properties, check out the archaeological consultants, seeing if they were taking bribes, documenting whatever we could on the property. It's we sneak on the property, sneak back out again, and up here, yeah, there's a few developments I think that they're planning on doing, and yeah, we might have to go in and check them out and see if there's anything that needs to be preserved, especially if it's burial sites or anything like that. But we want to explore the 1,600 acres first, so we have an idea of what we're going to find. And if we find a lot of things in that one area, then we could say, well, this is what we found here, and this development is within a certain radius. Or maybe a mile away, and we have an idea of what could be on that property or what is. Yeah, but there's certain people I report to saying, yeah, we found so many sites in this one development. Put a stop to it if you can. If you can't, we'll go to all the public meetings, whatever they have, and we'll give them show them the evidence that we've collected, the environmental impact studies, and everything else. So if anything happens, and the fire alarm just went off. Oh, lovely. But that is normal. It's it's lunchtime. Not everybody knows how to cook. That's all right. Yeah, some people are just really bad at cooking. Yeah, yesterday was really chaotic. I don't know what happened. Yeah, a lot of drama popped into a certain couple channels, and I'm like, what's going on here? What did I miss? But when it comes to protecting like what we call them, archaeological anomalies and things like that, things that you never thought you'd find in America. That Yeah, we don't joke around. If we, especially with land preservation. There's some archaeologists, they get paid off by the developers, and they ignore a lot of different things. Last time, like the first time we got involved with something, God, that's when my dad was running things. When he was one of the founders, basically. Yeah, there was a 110-acre development that he helped to shut down, and now it's I think it's a state park. I'm not sure, but they wanted to build all these little starter mansions in the watershed area, and my dad was like, "You're not going to do that. No way." So it took them a few months, but they went in, documented several sites. They spied on the state art. Well, actually, the archaeological consultant, who was an archaeologist with, actually, he was a teacher, a college professor. And there's my dad with very little experience in archaeology, with a friend of mine who was actually in the field considered a maverick archaeologist. So, and they're going up against a college professor. And of course, the professor, everything that he cited, all his quotes, everything, all his research was like that from the 60s, 70s. And yeah, my dad's citing everything modern, everything that was current. But yeah, it was funny. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the paperwork from it, a lot of the documentation, and it was a 2-year battle to save that property. But first, yeah, they were trying to build mansions in a watershed area with independent septic systems that were very close to Greenwich, Connecticut's drinking water supply. That's a no-no. That's like at these developers, they bribed the mayor, they bribed the archaeological consultant. They didn't bribe us. Not that we would have taken a bribe, but yeah, everybody found out pretty quickly that the mayor took the bribe because he tried to sell them a piece of parkland. And by Connecticut law, it's illegal to sell parkland unless they changed the rules since then. But back then, that was a no-no. You could not sell a park or pieces of a park to developers. But they needed to cut through the park to access the development from the Stamford side. It was in Stamford and Greenwich, Connecticut. It was 110 acres. So we were actually going to different boards. I think my dad was fighting him on the Stamford side. My friend Ancient, he was kind of going back and forth between Stamford and Greenwich, attending all the town meetings, everything else. But yeah, it took 2 years to shut down that development. And the people that were selling the property were that that the property belonged to was a major international paper company. which no longer exists, thanks to us. Or thanks to my dad, anyway. They had their headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. That was a big mistake. But yeah, that was a 2-year battle from what I read about it. But the paper company and everybody else said, we have every intention of developing this property. And my friend Ancient, who was at one of the meetings, he stood up and said, well, in 2 years, you're going to be out of business. Sure enough, bye. 2 years later, gone. From what I heard, all their major stockholders and investors pulled out. And they just totally went bankrupt. Then after that happened, another paper company, even bigger paper company, took over. And my dad told me, he said, "You so happened to the last paper company. Do you want the same thing to happen to you?" They were like, no, not really. So how are we going to handle this? Then he finally said, well, you give us $2 million, you can have the property. Sure enough, a couple months later, I don't know how it happened. They ended up with $2 million. Just and now the park belongs to the state, or that property. But there were a lot of pretty rich people that lived in Stamford and Greenwich that their kids actually hung out in the park, and they everybody knew about this 110-acre property that was practically connected to the park. But yeah, look, 2 years. Yeah, it took 2 years. Yeah, we are willing to fight for like 2 or 3 years if we have to save a property. But so much more easier now with the modern technology. We can send out little spy robots and things like that, remote control vehicles, and we've got access to satellites. But yeah, this explorer we're going to do it's going to be a challenge. But my friend Ancient, he found one of the first sites in this area, and it fit right into. I mean, it was nearly identical to a site we have in Stamford, Connecticut, which is probably over 100 something miles away. I mean, almost textbook identical. Some of the first images I saw of the place, I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I mean, they were up here too. And from what we found out from some of the archaeological surveys that were done by somewhat competent archaeologists back in the 70s, they found quite a few artifacts, quartz arrowheads, and other quartz artifacts. But these people basically, even though they had probably access to flint and other materials, they chose to use quartz. And they were very good at carving and shaping quartz. And we found quartz artifacts, of course, at the sites in Stanford. And these archaeologists up here, they found quartz artifacts up here. It was the same group. This might have, I think, was probably a base camp up here. In a very important ceremonial site. But there's a few minor, I think there's a few differences. Some things we haven't found up here yet, but this was like I think a disputed area. There were two different European groups that were over here. One of them were basically Minoan Hittite combination. Another group was might have been Scottish Gaelic type group. Found evidence of them here too. Another one, which probably showed up more recently, were probably some kind of Egyptian group. And there's one mysterious tribe that no one can really find out too much about, but they built serpentine stone rows, and they built these like small stone huts that, if you looked at them from the front, they looked like the eye of a serpent. And it's like you're walking into a well, we call them stone chambers, but a lot of the archaeologists around here misidentified them as colonial root cellars. But a lot of them, I mean, were too well built to be something that a colonist would have built, or a farmer. And they're talking about the ceiling slabs being very heavy, that were fit to get. I mean, some of the stone slabs we measured probably weighed. We're estimating a couple thousand pounds, at least 1,500 pounds, at least, and were placed together so precisely that you couldn't fit any kind of measuring instrument in between them. I think my friend Ancient will be talking about stone chambers and other things. Yeah, when he pops up on one of my future panels. But a couple of these chambers were dated back to at least 3,200 BC. Was like the first migration, or the first colony that was set up. We thought they were started out in the Hudson Valley, but we found evidence of them in Stanford, Greenwich, and the Hudson Valley. But they did go up the Hudson River. And now we're finding what could be potentially older sites up here in New Haven. Then there's the serpent people, as we call them, which we think do have Egyptian ties, because in the name of their tribe they have two Egyptian gods. One of them is Ammon, and the other one is Set. And the tribe was actually called Ha-Manasset. And the H is the letter H was more of a pronunciation symbol than it was a than it was a letter or a word in the Egyptian vocabulary. And right off the bat, we knew we were probably dealing with a group of Egyptian settlers that decided to come over here. Because I think after a while, they weren't welcome in Egypt anymore. After a time, I think the followers of Ammon were chased out of there. And they might have been the ones that were chased out of, I think it was Ireland or Scotland. I know somebody said they chased out the serpents or something in one of those countries. And these might have been them. And of course, everybody ends up in New England. I mean, the Basques, they followed the migration of cod, and the cod would actually, God, a couple hundred years ago, the explorers and first settlers would say that the codfish and other species were spawning in a lot of the Connecticut rivers. So a lot of these seafaring people, their main diet were the fish, and wherever the fish went, they'd follow. So Basques, yeah, they were here. We found evidence of them in certain areas. We found Egyptian writing. We found sort of a form of Scottish Gaelic. Uh, a lot of an Ogam. Ogam was probably one of the most common languages that we found inscribed in stones. A lot of these sites, it looked like they were used by different cultures. There'd be old stonework, and there'd be actually some modern stonework that was probably. I think we dated a couple of those sites to like as early as like maybe 1500 BC to like 1500 AD. Then once the colonization of America started in 1600s, a lot of them disappeared mysteriously. And we've actually found evidence of a natural catastrophe. We're not sure what caused it. But one place we found a significant amount of ash burials. What they would do, they dig a deep hole in the ground. They cremated their dead, put the ashes in, then they put a layer of small stones on top, and they keep doing this. And we found a couple. We haven't excavated any of these burials yet, but they could be several feet deep. But in this one area, we found a lot of them, and we did find a few full body burials. But depending on the age of them, we probably wouldn't really find any. I don't think we'd really find too much artifacts or anything. Plus, it's sort of like on some of these sites are on state and federal parkland, so we can't really touch them unless we have. Yeah, it's kind of like complicated to get permission to dig at some of these sites. Hey Mo, what's up, dude? How you doing? All right. Yep, Mo is a mod already. Cool, cool. I did. Yeah, mod. Yeah, Mo is in the house. Oh yeah. but the professional archaeological community looks at us as mavericks because we totally go against pretty much everything that they teach. And I don't know. Yeah, I haven't studied any of their. I haven't studied any of their textbooks yet. Hey, I don't know what they're teaching at Yale about archaeology, but it's probably not what we not what we're teaching. Because at one time they said, "Oh, nobody was here before Columbus." Okay. Um, well, let's see, 50 to maybe 50 years, or well, even the English were over here because there were artifacts, there were things showing up. There were these sailing ships from England that would say, "Oh, we're going over to China or some other country," and they were actually bringing back stuff that was only could only be found in New England. Certain types of wood, plants, other things. So yeah, they'd be. I don't know if it took them longer to get here. I think it took them less time to get here and go back to England. But things were starting to show up that were not indigenous to China or wherever they said they were going. So they knew about America, but they just had no interest in colonization. They were happy just going off, trading with the local natives, and going back home. And then I think the Spanish got involved, and it was like all bets are off. Okay, Spanish want to set up colonies. We're going to set up colonies. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, Columbus. Well, that was one of his things that proved that the Earth was round. But he was actually he was working with Spain. He had very close ties with Spain. But actually, a lot of people suspect that he wasn't even Italian. They say he was Portuguese. And the Portuguese, like the Basques, well, they actually had two or three Basque pilots on board. The Basques were actually doing the sailing, and the Basques probably said, "Hey, we have a place we go fishing at that you haven't," and ended up bothering the Taino people, were like friends of ours. Yeah, we know quite a few Tainos. I think never they didn't. I think the Basques were smart enough not to go to the mainland of America, but they guaranteed they knew where it was. But they probably said, "Oh, no, we're not going to tell Columbus." Well, Columbus is supposed to be Italian, but yeah, Momo is in the house. But yeah, the English, yeah, they were here. I think the English actually beat Columbus, and probably 100 years before that, on the other side of America, Chinese were setting up colonies in California, and well, at least one of the colonies decided to stay. And before that, we had, I think, the Vikings. Vikings were here too. They settled in Rhode Island, I think. Yep, I'm pretty sure it was Rhode Island. and they actually sailed around. And yeah, because a lot of the indigenous natives here, they said, "Yeah, we were fighting these guys that had had these long boats, and they had these horns on their head. And yeah, we were fighting them. We were beating the hell out of them too. Yeah, they weren't making too much progress. You know, to get halfway up the river, and then we'd chase them back out. But they did somehow manage to make it to the Mississippi River. Somehow, I don't know how they did it, but they did get up to up, I think near the Great Lakes is as far as they got, and I think they got chased out. But the one reason that people really don't know about that much about them is that they were the missing Greenland colony. They had because Greenland was starting to get cold, drastically cold. They were not, and they did not want to go back to their homeland because pretty much all that land was owned. All the resources were like crap, whatever ones they had left. So it was either starve to death or go out and go, explore the New England coastline. And so that's what they did. And they made it to Rhode Island. They some set up a colony there, and then a couple other places. I think there's another colony somewhere else in Connecticut, or somewhere in Connecticut. I'm not sure, but I know they did find evidence of Viking habitation. But whatever happened to that colony, nobody knows. They were probably wiped out by the local natives or intermingled, which that did happen a few times. And somewhere before that, I think before the Vikings, were the Iberian, kind of call them the Iberian Celts. They spoke sort of ancient form of Scottish Gaelic. They came over here. They had a pretty couple substantial colonies, and they were here. Gee, I'm not sure exactly when they were here, but if you look at some of the certain Eastern native languages, especially what people think are native uh, names for places, no, those weren't native place names. Those were actually a form, very ancient form of the Scottish Gaelic. And each letter in that word has its is a word itself. So this is like one of the most complex languages ever invented. And if you translated the word right, you would come up with at least 7 translations forward. And if you were close, had the translations close, there would be 3 translations if you translated the word backwards. It's a very complex language, and sometimes would have with one word. The longer the word, the longer the translations were, and sometimes it'd be like a whole paragraph of just these statements. And I think I'm beginning to suspect that a lot of cultures had knowledge of this language because you think about it, there were these runners that would run from village to village, and I'm almost positive that the leader would tell these runners, they'd say a certain word to them, and the runners would run off to another village and speak that word to the chiefs or rulers of that village, and then they would translate those words and come out with pretty much all the important information they needed to know. But it's a very complex language. Not that many people know it. I barely know it. But the closest language to it right now is the regular Scottish Gaelic. And certain sounds, there was actually some sounds and certain words that were not technically not in the native vocabulary that were found in these supposedly native place names. Like right off the bat, we knew there was something up with Hamanasset. The H is something that the Egyptians actually came up with first. And it was more of a pronunciation. And it was probably the guttural H that you hear sometimes in their language. So yeah, it's Egyptian, and it was pronounced this way. There are certain letters that were only found in certain vocabularies. But yeah, before the Iberian Celts, there were, I think it was a combination of people, but Minoans were like the number one. We know that it was Minoans, Hittites, and probably some early Egyptian, but not that prominent. But the Minoans were the biggest sea traders. They were what they called the Sea Kings. Some of the earlier native tribes, or some of the native tribes said, well, yeah, the Vikings were here, but before that, there was another group of people here that were more peaceful. And we allowed them to build on top of sacred mountains in other places. We really didn't have a problem with them. And they also basically had horns on their heads. And even the Egyptians said, yeah, we fought with these people too. So they were pretty well known. As we actually have, and whoever built Stonehenge and a lot of the dolmen and the other sites in Europe, Scotland, Ireland, England. I think England has a lot of stone structures. They were also in New England, all over New England. I mean, we're finding dolmen, we're finding passage graves, we're finding all kinds of other stuff. And actually, we've talked to archaeologists in the UK, and they're like saying, what? Officially, we really can't say anything about it. But unofficially, they just could not explain how a lot of these things ended up in America. They were like totally baffled. They were fascinated. But officially, they couldn't really say anything. Oh yeah, we find dolmen, we find all kinds of stuff. Standing stones. We even found a ceremonial, two ceremonial, yeah, two ceremonial altars. One of them was found in, of all places, Stamford, Connecticut. It was a toppled standing stone. Well, they kind of designed it like a standing stone. I'm not sure what the significance of it was, but that one site is where they cremated the majority of their dead. They had a specific burial ritual. They would leave first. They would leave the body in a cave for 3 days. We found the cave that they left the dead in, which was also one of very complex solar observatory. Probably it's almost I'd say almost as sophisticated. Yeah, God, I hate these words. Just as sophisticated but more compact than Stonehenge. But they had that was part of it where they would put the body for 3 days, and then they take it out back to the altar, separate the brain from the body. They had a special little altar just for the brain, and they'd cremate both separately. But the brain they thought was more important than the body. I mean, this is like a European burial ritual, and they were practicing this ritual in New England. And not too long afterward, about a year or so later, after we found the Stamford altar site, we found one that was over 100 miles away in up in the Hudson Valley, a place called Ninham Mountain. Same setup. The only thing different was instead of having the solar observatory, they had what we call a stone chamber. Then, but if you walked behind the stone chamber, there was a stone enclosure that had two altars in it, not just one large one like we found in Stanford. But yeah, I've been to a lot of these sites. And yeah, we will be going back. But this, yeah, with two altars, they were showed signs of having fires built on them, but we did not find any of the ash burials in up in the up on the mountain. But the local natives said, yeah, the people that were up here were they came across the sea in boats and set up the colonies here. Hudson Valley does have iron ore, and that was probably one of their mining colonies right there. But these people, they also went up the Mississippi River, and they mined probably several tons of iron ore. And none of the native cultures or anything, there was no evidence of them using iron ore. Or not thousands of tons like what was missing. And I think it wasn't up until recently that somebody somewhere found a Basque, no, not Basque, but Minoan ship that was sunk off somewhere, and they had these iron they call them ox hides. They were like almost, these weird shaped globs of iron ore. I guess they like kind of flatten, you know, shaped them a certain way so they could stack them. so they wouldn't take up that the ore wouldn't be loose, sort of like iron ingots almost. But they found a whole bunch of it, and the iron ore was actually traced back to the Great Lakes. And I don't know where they found the shit, but it was probably somewhere near Crete. I'm thinking that's where they probably found it. But it did have the iron ore on board, or some of it, not all of it. So they were another culture that ended up in New England, and I'm not sure exactly when Vesuvius erupted and all that, and Crete disappeared, but I think some of them did end up coming back to America, staying. I'm not sure what happened to them really. A lot of them probably died out or were killed off by more hostile natives. But they had probably the longest habitation period. I mean, they were here probably 3200 BC till I don't know when exactly, but they were probably here for quite a while, as long as the Crete was in existence. They were around, and somehow the Egyptians and other people came over here too. And the Egyptians, it's rumored that they ended up in up near the Grand Canyon or something. They said they found Egyptian artifacts, but some archaeologists are like suspecting that. Wait a minute, maybe the Egyptians started out in that in America and migrated to Egypt, like the Grand Canyon, from around the Grand Canyon area. They're not sure, but they said it's possible that they might have started out here. There were certain native stories that there were different groups of people that were here and that they moved. They each went kind of like in a separate direction. They might have established colonies in different places. That even in China, China had. I think some of these people ended up in China. There's a red-headed, bearded. I don't know if they were giants or not. They were kind of like a tall, light-skinned people. And some of these people ended up in Egypt too. They say that some Egyptian rulers, they had red hair. So there was some, a lot of weird migrations going on. But there was one queen, I think Nefertiti. I think in real life she had red hair and blue eyes. I think, though she wasn't really a native Egyptian. Or that's what they're basically claiming now. I think it was her and maybe a couple others, but they somehow got mixed in with the Egyptian culture. But the natives said that they actually ran into a lot of, I think, the Vikings, the Minoans, and whoever this other culture was with the red hair and blue eyes. Yeah, they ran into quite a few of those people too, from what we've been able to learn. But the Minoans, they seem to have been here the longest out of all the colonies. And when Crete folded, I think they disappeared too. After a while, the worshippers of Ammon and Set, they got chased out of Egypt, and they probably ended up in Ireland, England, and places like that, and then got chased out of there and ended up here, and they disappeared. They kind of like interbred with some of the other native tribes. But at one point in history, they just totally disappeared. Even some of the earlier explorers are saying, you know what, we've run into supposedly native tribes that were speaking sort of a dialect of, I don't know if it's Scottish, Irish, or what. It was something. They said it just did not seem right that these native people were speaking this language, whatever it was. And actually, one explorer went out of his way to fire cannon at and destroy certain native villages. That's something that's rarely talked about. And we found a little bit of evidence that there were such massacres in one tribe, and these people actually became parts of other tribes, but they were almost wiped out by these explorers. Nobody really knows why, but I have a feeling that these people spoke a language that they weren't supposed to be speaking. But yeah, my dad and my friend Ancient, yeah, they've been studying these people for I don't know how many years. I'm like the second generation, and now we're about to open up a whole new chapter on our research with the exploration of these sites and up in New Haven, which might have been one of their first colonies. It does have seem to have a longer habitation period than a lot of the other sites. The ones in Stamford and Greenwich, they did seem more recent, and some of them looked like, I mean, they were like abandoned really suddenly, like something major happened. I mean, it was one colony. The one in Stamford was sizable. We're estimating by just the amount of stonework that they did, and that then yeah, in the Stamford and Greenwich area, there had to be a colony of at least 3,000. I mean, there wasn't one place that had not been modified in one way or another. There was nothing. There were like almost no natural rock formations. Everything had something done to it. Yeah, my friend Ancient. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he used to go out there by himself with like 200 acres. He got in the middle of it. Of course, yeah, he'd run into like a lot of paranormal stuff, but he pretty much chose to ignore it because he really didn't want to be like doing the archaeological research and saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, besides doing the archaeological stuff, yeah, things happen." But now we're like, we really don't care. Right about now, it's like if something paranormal happens while we're out exploring, guess what? Oh, we're going to report that. Yeah, we might even be able to catch things happening on video. But I think each of us, yeah, I think we're all going to have cameras. We're going to be using, we're not, probably not going, well, we'll have our phone cameras as backups, but we're going to use, brand new Sony digital cameras. We got night vision cameras. We have endoscopic cameras. We have Wi-Fi. We have all kinds of cameras now that we're saving for these explorers. Nothing 4K yet. I don't think. Oh, no, maybe one camera is. I don't know if it is or not. I'd have to look at the specs on it. And one site is we're all going to see together. I mean, we've only seen this one site by satellite, and it looks sizable. It looks like it's over an acre. I mean, it is huge in a satellite image. And we don't know what we're going to find there, but you're going to see it with us after we get up the 300-foot cliff, which shouldn't be a problem. No, it shouldn't be a problem. We just didn't want to do it in the middle of summer with when it was 100 degrees and a 95% humidity. No. Yeah, we did not want to be climbing up a cliff under those conditions. And I'm sure, yeah, some native tribes, part of their culture, part of their religious ceremonies were like they would actually climb to the top of such cliffs, the hardest, whatever the hardest way was, and do vision quests. And I'm sure they probably did it in this one spot. So, yeah, we could probably go to the other end of this 1,600 acres, but we'd have to hike in probably 2 miles at least to get to these sites. So we're opting to go, even though it might be a little more difficult. We're going up the cliff, but there is a pathway there. I know people that have actually taken the trail up to the top. So we're going to do that. And there's probably two of us that might go up the hard way. But we would, if there are spirits up there, they would have more respect for us if we went up went up the cliffside. So that's the way we're going to try. We're going to attempt it anyway. But I know people have actually gone up there, and they said it wasn't that difficult, or as difficult as we thought it would be. It's supposedly a well marked trail. Well, yeah, we'll find out when we get there. But yeah, we're going to the top. Once we get to the top, I think the one site is probably half a mile hike. Which is better than hiking the 2.5 miles the other way. and it's downhill. Actually, both of them are downhill, so they're pretty close to one another. I think the one site is probably less than 100 yards away from the first one. But we're gonna hit the first one, which is the smaller of the sites, which I think it has some. It's solar related. It's not really a solar observatory, but it's very similar. And I think it was incorporated into some of their burial rituals. And if we were to find an altar up there, that would even be a bonus. Huh. Like my dad and my friend Ancient, they've been studying this culture for oh god since 1993 when they first got involved with the archaeology. But before that, they were like professional, well, UFO investigators, researchers. They were pretty big in the UFO community. But one ufologist that they started working with, he's like saying he was saying that he's found a lot of these ancient sites near areas where there were a lot of UFO activity, and he actually traced, you know, yeah, plotted out on maps where all the UFO sightings were happening, and at the center of each of these areas of high activity, you would be finding these ancient ruins. And he got more and more interested in that. Then my friend Ancient said, "You know what? I bet I could find stuff in Stanford and Greenwich." Because this one investigator, researcher, ufologist was finding stuff up in Hudson Valley, and it happened that he lived in Stanford. I think he lived in Greenwich. He was teaching at a Greenwich school as an astronomer. My friend Ancient said, "You know what? I bet we could find stuff like this in Stanford or Greenwich." And the ufologist said, "Well, okay, go ahead. I don't think you're going to find anything." But sure enough, right off the bat, and I think my friend Ancient, he went out fishing one day, July 1993, I think, July 3rd. Yeah, he wasn't really finding anything. He went to this river with it and decided, go up. We usually fish in this one spot. He decided to go up river a little bit where there was a steep cliff. And he went fishing with a couple of the local neighborhood kids. And he turned around and he looked up at the cliff. No, I think one of the kids found it first. He said, "What's that up on the cliff?" My friend, Ancient turned around, looked up the cliff, and there was this beautiful pointing stone. It actually was like three or four stones nestled together. It kind of looked almost like a stone diving board. That's kind of was like his first depiction of it. And the river was probably quite a bit deeper than it was than at the time. And so it was possible it was something involved in some kind of a ceremony. But this, it's a beautiful sight. I mean, it's a 14-foot square. Almost, it looks like almost like a quartz crystal poking out of the side of this steep cliff. It's beautiful, heavily carved, placed. I mean, there was and no way it could have been natural. And he's like looking at it like, and that's when things got started. That then it was like they got my dad involved, got a few other people involved, and they started up our organization. But within the first couple years, I think by 1995 to 1998, around there, they had over 200 documented sites all around Stamford and Greenwich. And I'm not even sure how many we have today. But nobody ever thought of looking up in New Haven. They found similar sites. They have Gunji Wamp up in Grot, and that's another mysterious site. Nobody knows who built that one. We don't even know because we haven't really had time to go up there and look at it to see if there's any stone monuments, monoliths, or anything similar to what we have in the Stamford and the Hudson Valley. And another key piece of evidence, we found a link, the Stamford site to the Hudson Valley site. Well, these people had these metallic. We're not sure what they used. It might have been heavy iron or something. They had these triangular shaped hammer drill bits. They were triangular shaped. The triangle is actually better for splitting stone. We've seen them used quite a bit. We've never found one of the drill bits really. It'd be nice if we did, but then again, we didn't. I don't think anybody back. Yeah, I think metal detectors were harder to get back in the '90s. They were like more expensive, or the good ones were anyway. But in the early '90s, they were finding these triangle shaped holes in the stones. And some stones were split, and in 2003 is when we started finding the same triangular shaped holes in some of the sites in Stanford. So that was a solid connection between the two colonies, which were, they were over 100 miles apart. But the sites were nearly identical, same kind of stonework. And now we're finding similar things up in New Haven. But I think once we start looking at the stonework, I almost guarantee we're going to find that same triangular shaped holes. I'm not sure when when they had their advancements in metallurgy, but they seem to be more. Well, they did mine for iron ore, so they might have had something. They might have come up with something really hard, and they might have had something to do with the Damascus steel, and I think there's been unusual types of metal found in different places. I think certain monuments in other countries that were made out of this ore or metal that was like resistant to corrosion. It was very strong, superior than what was thought to have existed at the time. So they might have had drill bits that were made out of the same material. And we just haven't been looking in the right spot for them. But yeah, Stanford, that was a kind of a surprise when we started finding those. I mean, there were like four, at least five or six of the abandoned sites that did have those holes. And I think what really, even before that, what confirmed the connection between the two colonies was that right in the middle, um, just outside of Stanford, up in I think part of New York State, they found a stone chamber, and that was the first stone chamber found outside of the Hudson Valley in that area. And it was like I think it was either Pound Ridge or Bedford, New York, somewhere right around there. But it was only a few miles down upriver from where my dad and Ancient were finding all these archaeological sites. And that happened like I think 2001, 2002. So that was. Hey, Christy, how you doing? Yeah, I'm just giving a little archaeological lesson here. Why not? Nothing else to do. It's like, yeah, I like talking about everything that's not included in the modern history books. Oh yeah, we call them stone chambers. They kind of like they've kind of like been misidentified as root cellars, but I really don't know of any farmers that were like professional masons that could move stone blocks that were weighed probably 1,500 pounds. Yeah, I doubt we could do that even today with modern technology. Yeah, some of the stonework is like a mystery, especially when they set up. Especially when we're finding the balanced stone boulders that they called dolmen. We found several of those in New England, and one of the first ones that was found was up in the New York State, 110-ton pink granite stone, supported by either seven or eight limestone columns. And the columns were socketed into the bedrock. And computer simulations indicated that these columns were placed precisely where they needed to be to support the weight of that stone. Precisely. And some of the local archaeologists were saying, "Oh, a glacier did that." Like, really? Now, how could a glacier do that? But that's that stone was found up in North Salem, New York. Since then, we found several more, and we found things that only a few people knew about in Ireland, in England. There's some things that they really don't talk about, except I think there was one researcher that did mention them in one of his books. Up until then, we had no clue what we found. But then he mentioned these so what they call solar reflectors. If you look at my that nature walk video, my friend Ancient actually showed pictures of the solar reflectors we found. Yeah, a lot of them do check for the markings, but some archaeologists, they kind of like they're not well versed in certain languages. And there's one language that I think only a few people actually were able to decipher, and they're no longer with us, unfortunately. But yeah, some sites do have the ancient Ogam inscriptions, and others have something similar, but it's like a slightly different language. And they had their own sort of pictograms, so the words were in the shape of pictograms. But some of the stonework, but yeah, I find it funny how some American archaeologists, can look at one of these stone chambers and say, "Oh, that's a colonial root cellar." Like, okay, really? When did they find exactly? When did they find the time to build not only these stone chambers, but also to build some of these stone walls that are built, just not in the traditional colonial style. Some of them were built, yeah. Some stone roads or walls were built by natives. A lot of, a lot of natives for some reason were building stone walls even before colonial times. Nobody could really figure that one out either. But the stonework was just something beyond colonial technology. And luckily, we've had investigators and researchers from England and Ireland that have actually come over and toured a lot of these sites. And they were actually quite amazed that we actually had sites nearly identical to sites they had it over in the UK. But publicly, they really don't want to talk about them. I don't know what power, but yeah, it seems to be something with the American archaeologists that they really don't want to mess with. But we're different. We don't care. Yeah, right now, I'm at the point I don't care. I'll go up against any professional mainstream archaeologist anytime, anywhere. If he wants to present his findings of a site and I present mine, guaranteed I'm going to come out on top. Any of us will. Especially when we have enough evidence to link sites, identical sites, hundreds of miles apart. I mean, the site in New Haven is probably a little over 100 miles from the one at Stanford. And if you were to draw lines between the three sites, you would have a perfect triangle. But a lot of archaeologists, especially back in the 90s, they were saying, well, nobody was here before Columbus. And then kind of around that time, I think, is when the whole Viking thing started coming out. They were like losing a little bit of credibility. And saying, okay, well, yeah, the Vikings were here, but nobody was here before that. Okay, how about, well, yeah, even then we find out, yeah, oh, yeah, the English were here too. probably around the same time as Columbus. They were actually trading with the natives. I think in I think they somewhere around off the coast of Connecticut. The English were already trading, but they didn't want to tell anybody where they were, where they were getting all this exotic wood from and all this other stuff. And some archaeologists are starting to say, yeah, they might have been here. And up near Groton, Connecticut, they're still trying to explain how Roman coins ended up on one of the beaches there, buried deep enough that they could have been just tossed there by somebody. I mean, with every, I think, once or twice a year, something else gets found. And then a lot of things that, I mean, their whole argument is falling apart. It's based on research from the 70s and 80s. Actually, a lot of it was from the 60s. And they didn't have anything new here. And some of them were like teaching, they were active college professors. I'm like, and they're using outdated material. So but some of the newer archaeologists that we've been able to work with are starting to agree with us. But it's, but there's still that one archaeological, there's going to be that one consultant that's working for a developer that's going to want to get bribed. They're going to, I mean, there's been sites up in the Hudson Valley, well documented sites. They've been bulldozed. Sometimes the landowner just doesn't want the publicity. They're saying, and the archaeologists are telling them, or the consultants are saying, well, they're root sellers, bulldoze them. And we're saying, no, 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 they're not root sellers. So a lot of sites were lost. A lot of them end up getting developed. And Stanford, from what I heard, there used to be stone chambers and other things like that. And people actually, I think back in the 60s, there were people doing tours of them. And then these mainstream archaeologists are coming along saying, well, no, they're just root sellers. And a lot of those were destroyed. And we're trying to stop that. I think I'll go for another 30 minutes and then end the stream. But, if anybody wants to come up and panel, I could drop the link again. Drop it one more time. I wasn't going to do a history lesson today, but, why not? So some people really don't know what we do or what we know. We do a lot of things. We're into ufology. We're into cryptids. We're into paranormal. But we're also considered to be maverick archaeologists. Even that college professor who was also paid archaeological consultant, he had to admit that my dad My friend Ancient were what he'd consider to be maverick archaeologists, which was actually quite a shock to everybody. It's like he actually could not dispute any of the arguments that were made. Yeah, he couldn't counter any of the evidence or any of the documentation or any of the current research. All he could do was cite things, outdated papers, outdated research. And we're just one organization. There's another one called NERA, New England Antiquities Research Association. They're one of the largest archaeological groups probably anywhere. They have chapters in 38 states and probably, I think, seven or eight countries at last check. They have a chapter somewhere up in Hudson Valley. And the Connecticut chapter is probably like 50 miles away. So we're not alone, but a lot of what they do a lot of stuff on weekends. We're kind of like gearing up to do stuff 24/7 if we have to. Seven, five at least 5 days a week. We might take a day or two off. Technically, we're only supposed to hike for like 3 days and take at least a day or two off to recover, then go back out for another 2 or 3 days. But NERA, I wonder if I could find their link. But they are a very interesting organization. They have a lot of documentation, a lot of pictures. Yeah, they are one of the best organizations. We stopped working with them for a little while, but we're back to working with them again. But my dad and my friend Ancient used to be members years ago, and they would often go on tours with them. Or if they wanted, there was an archaeological site they found and needed help identifying it. Either my dad or my friend Ancient would go out with them and tell them exactly what they found. A lot of them really have a lot of them really don't have much training in archaeology. But you just go https nera.org. You'll find them. There were, and I don't know when they started, but it was quite a while ago. They've been around for a long time. They're still around. My friend Ancient was actually at one of their conferences. He brought some quite a few things with him, artifacts, other things that he found. But it's been a while since we've worked with him. We kind of went off on our own a little bit. But they are a very good organization to join. They have a lot of beautiful pictures of sites. Some of the sites we've been to. But yeah, we just haven't worked with them in a while. It's like that. My dad kind of like let things go dormant a little bit with the Stanford chapter. Then he kind of like kind of lost interest in it. So did my friend Ancient after a while. And I'm like I'm starting to stir things up again. It's like I was the one that decided, hey, let's go to Twitter, let's go to YouTube, let's do a few other things. Then once Ancient found the site on top of that 300-foot cliff, I was like, okay, that's it. We're starting a chapter in New Haven. And if anybody from Stanford wants to come up and help out, let's do it. And then everything went south, yeah, for the last year. Wasn't our fault. We didn't cause what the problem, but yeah, we kind of like ended up getting locked down for a while. But now we're just gearing up, making sure we have the right equipment. Getting our survival kits together and other things. But yeah, NERA is a very good organization, and we were kind of like a private, low key organization for a while because of what we did. Yeah, we'd actually have to go out places where we weren't supposed to be to check out, document certain sites that weren't supposed to exist, and then show up at meetings with whatever evidence we had. But definitely check out NERA. I don't know if I could do this. No, I'm not even going to try. Yeah, I could probably share a screen and show you their site, but you know what? I'm like, that'll be probably my next stream. But I think I'm only going to be on for another 10 minutes or so anyway. So that's not bad. 3 hours. I'm doing good. But I think, there's some pictures on Twitter of some of the sites that we found and documented. I think they're still up. They're pinned. I think Ancient has them pinned. I think I have some stuff pinned. Yeah, we're just waiting for the weather to cool off a little bit. The leaves to go, to drop. But one reason that we used to do it in the summer was when the leaves were up was we were usually sometimes on private property. It was easier for us to hide if we had tree cover, thick vegetation. My cousins would sneak out in some areas with the ghillies, what they call the ghillie suits, and just go out with cameras and take pictures, and then they'd creep in and creep out. And then, if there's some remote site they have to go to, oh, they could drop in by parachute. They've been there, done that more than once. Not with us, but in their career, they have jumped into quite a few places. We're very sneaky. Sometimes we will, if there's a site that we need to go to and it's on a private property, yeah, we will inform the local authorities as well as some of the connections we have. They say, this is what we're going to be doing. Usually the local authorities will say, no, we're not going to go out there. No way. If it's not near a donut shop and there's no paved road that goes to it, no, they're not gonna bother with it. Especially if it's like a mile or two out in the woods. No, you're not gonna find them there. I think the most difficult place we had to get into was some of the Greenwich sites. Actually, no, there's one site that we go to. We have to get very special high level clearance anytime we go there. But we really don't, we really don't go there that much. We pretty much documented everything that was there. There's really no sense of us going back there for any reason unless we want to train some new people. But usually we got everything on video. Well, some things on video. A lot of it was photographed, documented, measured. But there's still some research we need to do in Stanford, but we just got away from that for a while. But we will definitely be going back to Stanford. Probably, not this year. Probably maybe within the next 2 years, anyway. But the main focus is going to be on New Haven and any of the surrounding areas. We found a few things. I think in West Haven, which is kind of like one of the other towns that slightly outside of New Haven. There's New Haven, West Haven, North Haven, and I just remembered there's an East Haven too. But East Haven is one of those places that we don't go to that much. I think we've only been to East Haven maybe once or twice. But we've hung out in West Haven. We hang out in North Haven. There's another town called Orange we hang out in. So yeah, we travel around a bit, quite a bit. But yeah, we have one site in West Haven that we're going to still have to go back to. That I found that shouldn't be where it is, and I we really don't know why it's there, unless they've got something buried or hidden that we I didn't see the last time I was there. So we still have to go back there. But things got hectic this week. I was busy with meetings, other things. I, but we are going back to this one site. All I'm going to say about it is that it's in West Haven. And it really shouldn't. I don't know why it's there. It should not be there. Well, anyway, I think that's it. I'm going to end this stream in about another 3 minutes. I think I've talked long enough. I'm not really used to doing this much talking by myself. Yeah, it's amazing how much I remembered about what my dad taught me about all these archaeological sites and the history of America that nobody wants you to know about. They'd probably, I think, another 10 years, you're not even going to find Columbus mentioned in any history books. It really, you can't put all the blame on Columbus. I mean, the Spanish were really wanted to establish colonies in other places too. They wanted to look for gold. And you know where the Spanish ended up. Yeah, they plowed through parts of America, ended up in South America, and messed up pretty much everything. And I'm pretty sure Columbus had something to do with that too. Him and the Basques and a lot of other people. So it wasn't just him. Columbus, yeah, he did almost eliminate one culture, but so did the Spanish. The Spanish ended up in South America. They did a lot of damage. All they wanted was gold. They couldn't care anything, couldn't care less about anything else. It seems like all the Europeans pretty much were caused the demise of several native cultures, which was really unfortunate, really bad, something that should have never happened. Well, anyway, talk to everybody later. I'm going to end this stream now. That's too bad. Well, yeah, maybe next time somebody will come up on panel, but I don't know. People are probably busy doing other things. It is Friday, and yeah, everybody can come back and check out this stream later. Leave comments. Well, anyway, talk to everybody later. Goodbye for now.